It's just another afternoon when too much sport is barely enough. And now here's the team who can open the batting and take the new ball up the hill into the wind, who can turn defence into attack in the twinkling of an eye, who've enjoyed the highs and learnt from the lows, who are all the better for recent racing and in the wash-up at the end of the day win a lot more than they lose. It's the team of H.G. Nelson and rampaging Roy Slaven and the dominant backline of This Sporting Life. H.G.
Yes, thanks very much indeed. King Wally Gotto in the soundproof booth.
Now it's your turn. Stay in touch, stay on the job, stay ahead with Bicycle on This Sport and Life. And now here's the man with the pink slip, H.G. Nelson. H.G.?
Yes, and one part of the prize today is a swimming hat for the Bondi Beach Cold Classic. So that's a tremendous part of the prize, and also a media guide to the Rugby League Challenge. Heaps of information here, like 1994 challenge results in detail. New South Wales Country Rugby League, the Country Boys of League, it's all here. The
Can you mention the Moroccans at all?
I don't think so, because they're not playing in this challenge. They're in the 7.
That's true.
But, you know, Auckland
they
Warriors...
might be part of the Super League.
Brisbane Broncos... Moroccans will be part of the Super League. We'll hope to hopefully be able to bring you some news on that. North Queensland Cowboys and so on. So there's a tremendous souvenir there. A November 1994 car magazine. Last year's Rugby League profile of the Eastern Suburbs Roosters. Yeah. And I looked long and hard for some way to celebrate the centenary of New Zealand cricket. And the best I could come up with were a lot of old tickets to Australia v New Zealand matches.
Unsold.
Unsold. Now, for instance, there's a ticket here to the Hobart Test, Australia v New Zealand, general admission, Friday the 26th of November 1993, starts at 11 a.m. As I flick through the wad, there's Sunday the 28th of November, Australia v New Zealand,
Is that a one-day match? Or
no, there are one-day matches in here, though, if you look careful. I'd say, what would you say, Roy, about 50 tickets?
More.
So there's 50 tickets to New Zealand's last tour of Australia. Yeah. They are mainly...
Did you get them from scalpers?
Yes. Mainly to the Hobart matches and tests. So that's a tremendous achievement there. If I look through this, Friday the 26th, that's the first day of play, obviously. Can you remember anything about this test as I go through it? Saturday the 27th there? No. Saturday the 27th. Did Booney get a ton on his home ground?
Play?
I think he did. Sunday the 28th. Yeah. Lance and Chris Cairns. It was one of the rare time I think a father and son went round. Sunday the 28th, it's there. Monday the 29th. Yes, Monday the 29th. And we come up to the last one. Is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Yes, Tuesday the 30th.
They're all there, complete set.
The complete set of tickets, but for you to share with...
no one saw.
For you and your mates. So that tremendous prize, the surfing magazine, the Eastern Suburbs Roosters collector's item there, the club history car magazine, the Bondi Beach Cold Classic swimming hat, and that tremendous challenge media guide for the Rugby League, and that celebration of the centenary of New Zealand cricket. For some lucky listener, women only, who can answer the following question.
Yes, women only. It's a simple question. What did Fred Perry have to bring to Charing Cross Station in order to settle the feud?
And now we're talking to Sharon of Willoughby on Triple J. How are you today, Sharon?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's all right. What are you up to?
I've just been to the supermarket.
Yes, a big load, was it?
It was a huge load.
Yes, you got to the checkout point and you thought, bugger me, it's worth about 150, and you ended up having to pay 250.
Exactly, and I always go to the wrong lane.
Oh, that's easy to do, isn't it?
Yes, it's dreadful.
But look, draw some support from the fact that everybody does it. Very few people just go in for 8 items and come out in the 8-item lane.
And they always try to sneak an extra 2 or 3 in.
That's right. They have them in their back pocket, and then they say, oh, I just remembered this, and then pull out the bottom of their shorts.
Get so angry.
Does that annoy you, Sharon?
It really annoys me, yes.
And Saturday morning is a tricky time at the supermarket, isn't it?
It's not easy. Someone's got to do it.
Do you try and go at other times?
I do usually go during the week, but...
right.
Yes, with the flexible hours, Sharon, there's no reason why you could have gone at any other time during the week. Why did you leave it till Saturday morning?
My daughter was asleep.
Yeah.
My husband had taken her to Luna Park all morning.
Oh, yeah.
And so I thought I'd like to get out of the house for a while.
Oh, good point. Yeah. So you thought, well, where can I go?
A bit of excitement.
How about
a bit of fun. Let loose in the
How about
supermarket.
Flemings?
in the rows of personal products, you didn't notice any King Wally Lewis hair paint, did you, by any chance, Sharon?
I wish.
Yes. Well, everybody does, but obviously it's all overseas at the moment.
Yes, all in Lebanon.
They can't meet demand.
Sharon, have you seen it? Have you seen it anywhere? Have you seen the product
No, I haven't.
in any
No.
pharmacies or garages? Or... I'm bugging to find
Still
out.
looking. Still
Yeah.
looking.
Well, it
Yeah.
seems well, it's weird that people who want it have to go to Lebanon to get it. Seems to me.
I don't think I'd bother, would you?
Oh well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It depends. You know, it depends whether you want to go.
You
How
need-
desperate you are.
Yes, that's right.
And whether
That's
you
right.
want to go down the Greg Matthews route
Oh,
of
not for me, thank you.
No,
knitting and weaving
the rug back
from
on.
one end to the other. You see what I mean? Or whether you just want a quick. Hey girls, look at me.
I think I'd go for the quickie, wouldn't you?
I
Yes,
think so.
yes,
So
yes.
it might be worth the trip to Lebanon.
How are you seeing this issue that's obviously tearing the nation apart concerning, you know, the commentators who don't get on? Do you think there's a lot more of it about than, you know, obviously the J.A. Bruce McAvaney standoff?
I think there's an awful lot of it. Because they're big egos, these guys, haven't they?
Oh, you forget that, don't you? That's something we haven't addressed.
Ah,
The
well, there you go.
ego side of it, I suppose.
Yes,
But
I
they-
think it's very sad, but it happens.
Yes, you're right. Really, humility is something they should have to relearn, isn't it?
I've always
You-
said so, yes.
Your Bruces and your J.A.'s and your bloody Tony Greggs and what have you. Well, I think having to dress up as Santa Claus for Kerry Packer's a great leveller for someone like Tony Gregg.
I agree. But let's face it, they're just sportsmen, really, aren't they?
That's true.
With
That's
a big
true.
thing in front of their mouth.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
true.
That's all they are.
That's all they are.
That's all they are.
Any of us could do the same thing.
Right, that's what I've always said, Sharon. They're my thoughts entirely. What have you got on for the rest of the day? A hectic whirl once, you know, the relatives wake up?
I am watching the cricket at the moment.
Yes.
What's the score?
6 for 323.
How many Steve
24.
Waugh end up with?
I can't see what he's got at the moment.
Oh, he's still there.
Yes, he's still there. He's still there. And then I'm going to the Pet Expo.
The Pet Expo, is that a popular thing?
I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I bet.
Saturday afternoon at the Pet Expo.
So you'll come home with a lizard, a snake, 2 cats, a dog, a
I
couple of
just hope I
fish.
come home with my daughter.
Yes. And is this something the smaller members of the family are looking forward to incredibly?
Well, she's only 20 months, but I'm sure
Oh,
once she
right.
gets there, she'll be...
Once she gets a sniff. That's right. She'll be in like Flynn.
So whose idea was it to go?
Oh, it was mine.
Oh,
It was mine.
oh, so you
Do
like...
what you've got to do.
Yes, so it's been a big day. Luna Park this morning and the Pet Expo this afternoon, or
Yes.
this later on today.
Oh, what about tonight? Off to the
I
club?
think that's about enough excitement for
Yeah,
one day,
fair
don't
enough.
you?
Yeah.
Now listen, have you got the screen there in front of you?
I do.
Yeah, well, who's batting with Steve?
Warn.
Ah, Warney's in.
Worn out, worn.
Yeah, isn't he though?
So Healy failed.
Yes, I don't know
there's-
what Healy went for.
Well, so there's so much pressure put on him yesterday, I noticed, with Bill Laurie saying, you know, that the people of Western Australia and Perth in particular had embraced him as a true champion and they'd forgotten the Zoehrer disappointment, etc., etc.
I like him though.
Oh, yeah, you know, everybody likes Ian
Everyone
Healy.
likes Ian, yeah.
Yeah, they all like him.
I think he's destined to be Australia's greatest glove man. I do. I think we'll start seeing very, very big raps. Well, he was described yesterday by Bill and might have been Tony Gregg as the finest wicketkeeper batsman in the world.
Right.
That's a big rap.
He does tend to get a bit carried away though, doesn't he? With his expressions. Not
Yeah.
Ian.
Greggy.
Oh,
Well, I suppose so. I mean, it comes from years of going out there with the pitch reports.
yes.
Pressure's always on him, isn't it?
That's right, to come up with something interesting to say or something to do, like lose his keys in the pitch, as he did once at the Wacker, I think.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, I'm not sure what the future holds for Tony Gregg. I'd like to think that, you
Has
know...
he still got that lion business? Has he still
No,
got the
I think
lion on the
that's-
line? That's...
I haven't seen him do that for a
No,
long time.
No.
nor have I. That was a beauty.
Steve Waugh's got 46 runs.
46.
Right.
Right,
Well,
that's good.
109 balls.
Look, with the Pet Expo calling, beckoning, I can hear it calling Sharon already.
Come to me.
That's right. Let Roy set out the question and have a fling at it.
Mind you, when you think about it, how could you look forward to going to work if you knew you were going to be spending the day sitting next to Ian Chappell? Eh?
It is a
No
bit
wonder there.
Well, medicine's come a long way.
That's true. Ah, yes, the
You know, the...
Durban.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
Sharon,
Yes, sir.
um,
We're What was that question?
Ah, yes. What did Fred Perry have to bring to Charing Cross Station in order to settle the feud?
A bucket of tennis balls.
Yes,
That's right,
a bucket of
Sharon.
balls.
Now, you've always admired New Zealand cricket, I can tell it in your voice, and so there's these 50 tickets to the Hobart Test, and remember, there's not only one set for yourself, but there'll be one set at least for 10 mates, and with Christmas just around the corner, just imagine the grins on their faces when they wake up and open the envelope and realise that Sharon has given them a souvenir for a lifetime, a set of New Zealand v Australia cricket tickets from the Test in Hobart. You've got your media guides, you've got your Bondi Beach Cold Classic swimming hat, you've got your Eastern Suburbs Roosters, you've got your surfing mag, you've got your car mag and so on.
Hasn't Ken Rutherford signed one of those?
He has, the top ticket.
Ken Rutherford. Gee,
All the best to the Pet Expo, Sharon, and
Thank
thanks
you
very
so
much for being part of This Sporting Life.
Thank you very much.
Bye now. See ya. And somebody who's in a coma at the moment is Shane Warne. He's just been dismissed at the Wacker for one. I think I'm right in saying that. He only got one run.
Yes.
And Phil DeFreitas got him. Not much of a shot. Not much of anything, really. Snick.
No, a snick.
He was lucky to get the bat anywhere near it. The ball did an enormous amount out of the hand. The pitch aided the delivery enormously. It was sheer pace that beat him. But what is going on? I see this week that Alan Border has now called out for the ACB to come to the rescue of Shane Warne. He, in a back page editorial think piece in one of the daily papers, he said, "We must not kill Shane off." I didn't realise that people were shooting him, gunning for him, trying to wear him out. We have worn out Warne, and let's take a few thoughts from Crash Craddock's column, which broke this story, I think, concerning AB. The former Test captain Alan Border last night voiced what all Australia is thinking.
Yes, that's right, isn't it?
I didn't realise.
Yeah, no, all Australia is thinking about worn out Warne.
I didn't realise that. I
Being
didn't.
killed off
Yeah.
slowly on national television.
Australia was thinking Shane Warne is becoming in danger of becoming burnt out.
Well, the whole team's burnt out, I read, as a result of the last Test match.
Is that right?
Yeah, the whole Australian team.
It's burnt out.
Burnt out.
Now we have, Alan Border, Warne's captain for 26 Tests, admires Warne and has joined in the chorus of experienced observers who are concerned that the man who has reshaped the modern game is becoming a victim of his greatness. Now, who are these experienced observers?
Greg Shippett.
Greg Shippett, yes.
Dav Watmore.
Dav Watmore, yes. I did see Neville Rand have a few words about it on... he interrupted his talk about soccer to plead with the public.
Yes.
Not to put too much pressure on our new Pat tonight. And also Shane Warne and the burnout factor. I did see Philip Adams donate a whole program to it and had a couple of experts
on general burnout in cricketers in particular or leg spinners.
Shane, according to AB, and AB would know, Shane's bowling is not as energetic as it was. He is starting to look jaded, and we have to watch him very closely. Burnout is a very real threat. I know what it's like as a captain. You tend to go to Shane all the time, but he's a goose that laid the golden egg, and we must be sure that we don't kill him off. I wouldn't even take him to New Zealand, wouldn't even consider him for the tour. I'd leave him at home, tell him to go and lie on the beach, have a few beers. He has to be mentally ready to strike against the West Indies. With burnout, it's often the mental side of it that hits you first. Yeah. Shane has people after him every moment of his day. He has to take care of cricket, his relationship, his business interests. People don't realise the pressure on him.
It's John Daly, isn't it?
It's John Daly, it's Pat Rafter.
Yeah.
You know, who'd have more pressure on him at the moment, Shane Warne, John Daly or Pat Rafter? God, you'd have to be a psychiatrist to work that one out. The killer whale, our new Pat, or Shiney. People tend to worry about burnout affecting fast bowlers because they run in the extra 25 metres. Gee, AB knows it all, doesn't he? It's good having an experienced mind like AB talking.
An experienced observer.
But the effort involved in ripping a ball out of the back of the hand, it's up there with it. You know, do you know what I mean? The effort it puts on your body to rip that arm out, get the ball spinning out of the back of the hand.
As if your mind is spinning with the ball. You grip it with your mind. Peter Philpott, the great leg spinner, that's how he described it to me years ago. He said, you grip the ball with your brain. Well, imagine how many times he's got his brain around a ball. No wonder he got burnt out.
Some old-time leg spinners like Terry Jenner and Tony Locke, watching Warne bowl in Adelaide, believed he was trying to
Tony
take...
Locke suffered.
Well,
and he's still suffering.
Suffering burnout. Look, you know, I mean, apart from Johnny Gleeson, I can't think of a leg spinner who escaped from the game unscathed, and that includes
Well,
Richie
Johnny
Benaud.
Gleeson was a mystery spinner. That's why he didn't get the burnout that leggies get.
Well, look at what it did to Richie Benaud. He was a lively young bloke when he came into the game, and look at him now.
Yeah.
He's sort of just like a frog sitting there. The lips not moving, but the sound coming out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a classic case, Richie Benaud. Anyway, so old-time leg spinners watching Warren bowl in Adelaide believe he was trying to take the stress off his shoulder by doing more work with the fingers and the wrist. Isn't that a tragic mistake? When the mind moves from the shoulder down to the fingers and wrists, it's all over, you know, forget it. But without full shoulder movement, he does not seem to get the turn and bounce that at its best makes keeper Ian Healy take the ball snapping about hip level. He is by nature an obliging soul, etc., etc., etc. What are we going to do with Shane? Is it cotton wool and kid gloves?
I think
or
so.
moccasins? No, what's he got on the...
Oh, the moleskins.
Moleskins, yeah.
Fred Perry style. I'd wrap him head to toe in moleskin.
Every night. Just
Well,
put it-
for a month, at least, while the players are on tour in New Zealand. And that's probably not a tour that he'd mind missing out on. Although, you know, any time I've gone to New Zealand, it's been a terrific time. They're very, very warm people. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely country. Very, very pretty land is New Zealand. And to go there is to... it's like playing against a mate. You know, it's...
I've heard it described as Lebanon in the South Pacific.
Yeah, well, in terms of hair paint, no trouble getting hair paint in New Zealand. None at all. It's all hair paint, you know, right from the top down to the bottom. Everyone wears it, even if you've got a full head of hair.
They all spray up
before
they go out.
Going out.
And
No, it's terrific. But I think AB does have a point that there is a lot of pressure. I mean, if you imagine the pressure, as you mentioned on New Pat, Shane wears that day in, day out. But have you ever thought, Roughage, he didn't know what I was talking about?
yeah, well, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't. You know, I said, have you tried beans or peas or...
Nutrigrain.
Yeah. Oats. Anything that will have a little bit of...
Go
charge
through.
Or a little bit of, you know, ease the passage.
On the live on Triple J across Australia on the Wally Lewis Hair Paint Network, and Katrina coming up at 5 o'clock across the nation with a request program. And we've had a sighting of the Wally Lewis Hair Paint. What's the story, Roy?
Well, apparently you can get it quite a good deal on it, $1.98 a can.
Is that a crate or is that per can?
I think that's per can.
Yeah, you don't have to buy it in bulk or anything like that.
Well, I suppose you could. At Cunningham's in Adelaide, Cunningham's warehouse. I don't know if you can get it in pharmacies anymore. You could originally. I don't know what's happened there between... must have been a breakdown in communication between the producers or the manufacturers and the Pharmaceutical Association of Australia, one imagines. But anyway, it's good to see you can get it there in Adelaide. So if anyone in Adelaide at the moment would like to go out tonight looking very astute, that'd be the place to go. I don't know if they've got all colours, though. It was in 3, wasn't it? 3 colours?
Oh, no, it came in about, as I recall, about 7.
7 colours.
There was things like, there was obviously brown,
Yeah.
and mid-brown,
Yeah.
and light brown,
Light brown, yeah.
and black,
Yeah.
plum, and...
What about blood note? What if Mark Woodford sort of...
Or if Craig McDermott
Or
wanted
Craig
to
McDermott
touch
wanted
up.
to... Yeah.
Yeah, surprise his family, say tomorrow at lunch, yoo-hoo, I'm here. Walks in and unrecognised. I tell you somebody who might like to take it on is Graham Gooch. And I was taken with a Crash Craddock think piece this week in one of the papers. I don't know how many people had
I
access.
was nearly crying when I read that.
He wrote, the sub pulled out a headline, or a hairline, farewell to a true champion. I've never thought of Gucci as that way. I don't forget you scooped that interview with him last time he was here with the Ashes Tour, and you got him to admit that he was a loser.
That's right.
And looking forward to the end. Here he is 4 years later, still going round. And the opening line of Crash's piece, he started out as a humble tool maker. Now, he's going to retire after the finishing of the match in Perth. By playing today, i.e. in the test that's underway at the moment, Gooch has become the most capped player in England. 118 tests, breaking David Gower's record. Now, Gooch likes to practice by having a teammate throw balls at him and until he gets the bat just going backwards and forwards like a pendulum. It's an interesting technique. I don't know that anybody else uses it, and hence this may explain Gooch's failure at the bat recently. Gooch may claim the public do not know how hard he works, but anyone who tours with him does. It's high impossible to go for a morning walk near the England's team hotel without seeing his sweaty frame jogging by. Yeah. I think jogging's...
Ambling.
shuffling by at a broken down gait. He always seems to be struggling. No doubt he is. It's no wonder he occasionally falls asleep over dinner. We
great having a night out with Gucci.
Unbelievable, embarrassing nights.
Yeah.
I remember that night, it might have been the Fred Bennett Memorial Dinner. And honestly, you know, you had to give him the kiss of life because he'd fallen asleep in the soup. And he just went straight out, you know, bang, plunk, down he went, you know.
Drowning. Drowning in the soup.
I'd never seen it before.
Couldn't wake up to save himself.
Seen it before. Somehow
had to pull him out by the hair.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it was dripping all down his moustache and onto his chest, remember?
On the white
all
shirt.
Over the white shirt, yeah. Very, very embarrassing.
Crash surprised me when he said Gooch made a science out of analysing his game. He knew where his feet were and what he had to be thinking for every shot. Even when he was happy with it, he was still tinkering with it. He stumped Mike Atherton once during a mid-wicket conference and just quizzed him, where was my back foot when I hit that four? You know, things like that all the time. Gooch started predictably enough with a pair at 1975 at Birmingham, typical introduction to the English Test side, a couple of pairs.
Might have been Max.
Max Walker. Yeah, that's right. Max Walker was still playing then. Likes Malcolm Marshall. He says that he was easily the best. He says he was very fast. There's an original thought concerning Malcolm Marshall. Very fast. And he learned a lot by playing in England, how to swing the ball, etc., etc., etc.
That's right.
Viv was the best batter he'd come up against, and he often cries. He was very teary when Ken Barrington dropped off the twiggy in '81 in the West Indies, and he defied, you know, the might of the West Indies for 116 before breaking down again in the rooms. And he finally said the final bit was, the only reason I've played so long is because I'm fit. I wish I could have become more dedicated earlier in my career.
He's
How fit is he?
Oh, he's fit. So fit, he can almost stay awake 4 hours a day these days. That's how fit he is. I'm surprised he didn't mention Suffrage No Ones.
No, well, he may have.
Speaking of fitness.
I haven't got to the details. I mean, this article from Crash does go on a bit, isn't it? True. Now, what I wanted to get to was Gucci's, obviously, as we've established, playing this last game. Is in your last game, do thoughts creep in, which...
Oh, you often
mightn't have been there before. You know, like you might think, oh, well, I'm standing here for the last time. I wonder what I'm going to be doing this time next week. Or things like, Pat Wacker, played here 45 times. I've had 1 ton and, God, I wish I'd only converted those nervous 90, you know. Do you know what I mean? I mean, a lot of goofing off. And
of course you think of those things.
And do the team see him as a passenger at the moment, the Pommy side?
Oh, I think so.
They're just going through
certainly they're trying to hide him in the field in slips. But you do, your thoughts do, mixed emotions.
Would he be thinking ton?
Mixed emotions.
Because there must be one style for
well, of course, everyone dreams of going out, you know, with a big one, like Pat Cash often dreams of having retired, you know, in 1987 around June. That would have been the best way to go out.
Yeah, would have been the time.
Sorry, July, yes, that would have been the time to go out. That would have been, you know, perfect. And you often think of these things, and Gucci probably sees himself as carrying his bat in the last innings, having scored the winning run, you know, 2 minutes before, or in the last over, the last of the 15 overs, in the last hour of the last day's play, where England needed, you know, say 45 in the last over, and he got it with, well, an unlikely series of shots and overthrows. Yeah, but you would dream those thoughts, and while you are thinking of those thoughts, my last time out here, I remember catching one here in, you know, 78, and boom, then suddenly the ball's by you.
Yeah. Another four.
Wake
up, Gucci.
Yeah. Get up, Gucci, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and that's what happens. But I think cricket is a big enough game to allow a little bit of sentiment. And
do you think he'll be the first off when he comes, when, you know, like obviously England will be in the field on the final day, unless Australia get a whopping score and bowl them out twice.
Yeah.
But, you know, they'll be in the field, as Australia probably get the winning runs.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see him roll the arm over, because he was always underused as a bowler. He gets more swing than any, you know, seamer.
Than Terry Alderman.
Yeah, much more than Terry Alderman. And,
especially
you know,
I've
always think with the doctor there, that Gucci is a natural. I'd always have Gucci coming into the wind. At the
Stronger the
whacker.
better.
Stronger the better. Stronger the wind the better. Yeah, because, gee, you can move that ball around. He's a partnership breaker. Ian Chappell described him as someone with a golden arm.
Is that right?
He's got the golden
That's
arm.
an enormous
There's
rap,
a very
isn't
big
it?
rap from someone like Ian. But
When was this, in 72?
Yeah, in 72. Yeah.
Has he lived up to the big raps?
So I think so. Look at the bloke's record.
Yeah, true.
118 tests.
Yeah,
I think-
300 runs on one stage.
Yeah, that's right. And I think he's got 8 wickets.
8 wickets?
I think so.
Yeah,
But they've
yeah.
always been, crucial partnership-breaking sorts of
Yeah, like
wickets.
2 wars on 110 each.
Yeah, he's got one of them. But tremendous bloke, and certainly England loses a champion when Gooch, G full stop, marches off into the sunset of Somerset for the final time.
I suppose they're waiting, hoping Alex Stewart will get the finger fixed to come back and obviously
take over.
take
the
over at the
reins.
opening. Yeah, the
and
reins.
cement that opening spot.
Yes, look, we were at the Wacker yesterday, see the first day's players, tremendous day. I'm just wondering what you made of that book that was shoved in our hands by Timmy Zoehrer, The Gloves Are
the
Off.
gloves are off. Ooh.
I found it a very interesting read. Let's face it, I don't think Australia has produced a finer leg-spinning wicket-keeper than Tim Zoehrer. Let me say that I am a big rap for Tim Zoehrer and everything he stands for.
Yeah.
Sure, when he comes over, I make sure that the cutlery's all there when he leaves and all this sort of stuff, but he knows that. And it's an old jape between mates, It's funny to have that sort of insight into a bloke. And as you pointed out, you believe that he has been overlooked at crucial times. You've always led the urging for Zoehrer to be included. Obviously, there's something going on between Zoehrer and the administrators of cricket in this nation. To see him, as he so often did, was, obviously clean up the tail with his leg spin, which was bowled from one end, and he scooted up the other end and often got a nice stumping as he put the pads and gloves on to take the delivery that he just bowled a moment or two before. And reading from this article, reading between the lines, an emotional outburst in Sharjah in early 1987 effectively ended the international career of Tim Zoehrer, according to the controversial former Australian wicketkeeper and Australian and Western Australian wicketkeeper, and they omit here, as they always do, and one of the finest leg spin bowlers this nation has ever produced up into and including Shane Warne. Zoehrer, who kept in 10 tests between 86 and 87, yesterday disclosed he believed a run-in with national coach Bob Simpson, Bob who, directly contributed to the subsequent his demise from the Australian team. The 33-year-old was dumped from the WA team at the start of this summer, and on Tuesday released his autobiography, Tim Zoehrer, wait for it, the title, The Gloves Are Off, behind the furniture. Now, Zoehrer wrote he'd lost his temper and abused the Australian coach over an allegation he had taken a bottle of scotch from the team function the night before. Quote, this is Tim writing, I stood up, turned to face Simpson and gave him the biggest mouthful of abuse ever given by a player to an Australian official. I called him everything from a two-faced to a yellow belly and demanded that he be fined. Gee, he did go overboard, didn't he?
Yellow belly.
Two-faced, yellow belly. I've never heard the term yellow belly.
No.
Anyway,
Simo. He said that to Simo.
You could have heard a pin drop. I sat back down. Simpson did not say a thing. He just sat quietly next to him with their hands on the head. Next day, as the team headed to the airport to fly home, it was announced by the team manager, Ian McDonald, that's Mad Macca, that Simo had been appointed to the test selection panel for 3 years. I turned to Fat Cat, that's Fat Cat Richie. I don't know how many people remember Fat Cat Richie, back there with Fred Perry. Yeah, and said, I'm finished, what about you? His exacts were, this is Fat Cat's exact words were, I'm gone too. So Simo, obviously, is once again
responsible for buggering up the career of 2 great Australian champions.
And probably, incidentally, causing Fat Cat weight problems.
Yeah,
At least the exercise he got running between the
I
wickets.
reckon
kept his
Fat
weight
Cat
up.
could sue Simo for his weight problems. I do. I think Billy McDermott, Billy the Kid, could sue him for his bowel problems. Because he causes a lot of stress and anxiety. Does Simo. But correct me if I'm wrong, but in the United Arab Emirates, would whiskey be part of the social world?
It would have to be coming in through diplomatic bags. And obviously there was probably a shortage that night. The only person to notice was Simo, because
He'd number the bottles.
Oh, exactly, and get out his ring and scratch on what they'd drunk to.
Yeah, or his texter.
His texter, yeah, that's right, the lines.
Yeah. But who'd be drinking whiskey? None of the players would be drinking whiskey, would they?
No.
I can't imagine the players drinking whiskey.
Who was in that team, the Zoehrer? I can't remember anybody about
I can only remember Zoehrer and Fat Cat.
AB.
AB, well, he doesn't drink
Gee, it was
whiskey.
a strong team, wasn't it? Zoehrer, Fat Cat and AB. Who opened the attack?
Alderman, probably. He doesn't drink whiskey.
I meant the bowling attack. Who would have been the fast bowlers?
Bruce Reid.
Yes, between breakdowns.
Between breakdowns.
And
I'd blame Simo for those breakdowns.
And McDermott would have been going around, I suppose.
McDermott, well, gee, don't give McDermott any whiskey with the way his bowels are. So I can't imagine he'd have any.
So it was only Simo.
So it was only Simo.
No wonder he's a bit peaky about it.
Yeah,
And what did you
Simo,
think?
probably Simo, you know, thought, oh, there's only a bit left. I'll take it up to the room with me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, hid it under the bed and forgot about it. Next thing he's pointing the finger at Timmy Zoehrer.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of the spray, though? It was first class.
Oh, it was,
it was
well,
truly put down.
two-faced.
Yellow belly.
Yellow belly. That's Simo.
Who are we talking to, Roy?
We're talking to Ian at Coogee. How are you, Ian?
Oh, not too bad, Roy.
What have you been up to today, Ian?
Oh, actually, I'm not at Coogee. I'm at North Sydney. I'm in at work today.
Oh.
So I don't know what's happening. What's the latest score?
Well, it's a bit uncertain. They've just come back after lunch by the looks. I hope they will.